Havertz looking to force Chelsea move. VAR intervenes as Barca relegate rivals. Dyer faces a full match ban, a transfer roundup, and today's Thursday favourites all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Frodick, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. So first off, and Kai Havertz is reportedly going to force a move through from Leverkusen to Chelsea. The German midfielder wants to join the Stamford Bridge club as it looks like there aren't too many others who are willing to pay the fee for him. Now that fee, well, there's a few questions about how much it's actually going to cost. Apparently Leverkusen want over 100 million. Chelsea say they're going to pay around 70 million euros, and so they're probably going to meet somewhere in between. The key to this is that Chelsea may pay quite a lot of money this summer, but there will be add-ons and clauses and bonuses and all this kind of stuff that could end up taking them over to next summer as well. The reason for this is that it does seem a little bit odd that Chelsea would go on such a splurge when you include the deals with Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech as well, during COVID-19, when supposedly there's not so much money, and on top of this, fair play regulations are being looked at, especially in Manchester City's case, so Chelsea definitely don't want to get on the wrong side of that. If they can offset some of this money to next season, it may actually work in their favour. So whether or not Havertz actually will leave, well, it kind of depends on the fee. As mentioned before, he has told the club he wants to go, and with Leverkusen missing out on Champions League football, signing for Chelsea may represent his last chance of getting into Europe's Premier Club competition for next season. But the question remains, do they actually need him? Well, here's the thing. Personally, when you look at Chelsea's squad, they're in a very good shape. They've got loads of midfielders, they're doing well enough to get into the top four and potentially challenge next season. Okay, maybe that's a bit of a stretch. Certainly challenge for the top three spots. The thing is though, when everyone says, oh, they've got Mason Mount, oh, they've got Ross Barkley, Pulisic, Ziyech, whatever, Kai Havertz is better than them. And that's in my opinion. I've seen him play quite a lot in the Bundesliga, and Kai Havertz certainly is better than Mason Mount and better than any other midfielder at Chelsea. I think he's a better attacking than someone like Kovacic is, or Mason Mount is probably a better ball carrier than they are. He's not better defensively than someone like Kante. He's maybe not a better passer than Jorginho. It looks like he's going to leave the club. I just think Havertz is an all-round brilliant midfielder, and even though they do have Mount and a few others, the thing is, if they bring Havertz in and he's great, right, then they've got a great signing. If it forces Mason Mount to become even better, then brilliant. They've got two great players. And if he flops, then, well, they've still got Mason Mount there who's pretty great as well. So it kind of seems like it'd actually be a good decision for Chelsea. On top of all of this, if they sign Havertz, no other club signs him, so that's also a good win. But moving on and to last night's action, where Barcelona not only took a step closer to Real Madrid as they desperately tried to get back their La Liga title, but they also, in a very sweet evening for the club, managed to relegate rivals Espanyol. Now, they have a crosstown rivalry purely because they're located in the same region of Spain. They're not actually rivals considering that Barca are going for the title and Espanyol are rock bottom at 20th. However, the 1-0 victory last night, courtesy of a Luis Suarez goal, did mean that Espanyol are down in the second division for next season. But the game did not pass, of course not, it's a derby game, without a bit of controversy, and that was in the form of 2 red cards within the space of 3 minutes. One was for teenage wonder kid Ansu Fati, and this one, I kind of felt it was a little bit harsh. Now, here's the thing, for those of you who haven't seen it, make sure you go and check it out. But Ansu Fati raised his foot incredibly high. He did catch the player on the shin, but only after he got the ball. Now, obviously, you're not going to tell the defender to not go for the ball, but I can't help but feel if he stood there, Fati put his foot up, got higher than the defender, poked the ball, he should be allowed to continue. Obviously, I know that his foot afterwards smashed into the defender's leg. I just think that that was basically whoever wins the ball first is also going to commit a foul, which doesn't really make too much sense. The thing is, the referee actually gave Fati a yellow card before going to check VAR, coming back, cancelling the yellow, and then giving the teenager a red. Again, I'm still 50-50 on whether or not it was completely ridiculous, but the one for the Espanyol player may have been a little bit more clear-cut. So the player in question was Paul Lozano, and I know what you're going to say before you go absolutely crazy. Yes, he also did just touch the ball before he absolutely studded Gerard Piqué halfway up the shin. But for me, he's definitely gone in with the intention to hurt him. He's not going to directly play the ball. You can see because he's just swung his leg and it's hit his toe, and there wasn't any real angle or direction that he was trying to play in. Unlike Ansu Fati, who was clearly moving forwards, this guy just went in, studs up, if he got the ball, if he got PK or whatever, to try and harm, let's be honest, the greatest antagonist in this rivalry. If there's anyone that Espanyol hate more, it's Gerard Piqué. He's the one that constantly winds them up, constantly talking shit about them, and probably deserved to be on the end of a pretty harsh challenge. Anyway, the same thing happened. The referee gave a yellow card, went to VAR, then overturned it to a red. In all honesty, it's probably fair that if one gets given as a red, the other one does as well, but I don't know, I'm still not completely sure. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I assume it's going to go a little bit something like Barca fans saying it wasn't a red and Real Madrid fans saying it definitely was. But moving on, and to a red card that wasn't given, but a retrospective ban nonetheless. That is for Eric Dyer at Spurs. After their defeat to Norwich in the FA Cup on penalties, Dyer ran into the crowd. It was an absolute bizarre scene, jumped over about 20 sets of seats before defending his brother who was getting some abuse, apparently. Now, this is where Eric Dyer has now landed himself in hot water with the FA and a £40,000 fine, which isn't much for footballers, but a 4-game ban, and after he's been Spurs' best defender since the restart, this is big worry for Jose Mourinho. In fact, Mourinho, in his typical style, said that he prefers not to say anything on the ban because he'll get in more trouble, but he did hope that the fan will be able to come back to the stadium and enjoy the games when safe to do so. That's because he actually met Eric Dyer and apologised. Now, you know what? I am a little bit annoyed at this because I'm not so sure whether the FA are consistent with their punishments. I mean, there was one player, like Matteo Guendouzi, who grabbed another player by the neck, threw him to the ground, and absolutely nothing was given. So Dyer running into the crowd after a game protecting his family member is worth a 4-match ban? That's very inconsistent. I mean, Eric Cantona kung fu kicked a guy and got banned for like 8 months, but I'm not quite sure that's on the same wavelength. There's also many other discrepancies in the FA rulebook which just make no sense, yet Eric Dyer's the one who's unfortunately been punished for this one. By the way, I'm definitely not condoning what he does. You don't run into the crowd and act in a threatening way. Not condoning that whatsoever. Just think it's not quite the same as some other FA rules that have been broken, and they need to be way more consistent. So next up, in a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news that you might have missed, and Hwang Hee-chan has joined RB Leipzig from sister club RB Salzburg, along with Benjamin Henrichs, who has joined Leipzig on loan from Monaco with an option to buy next summer. Sevilla are the latest team apparently showing an interest in Arsenal fullback Hector Bellerin. Norwich City want 50 million for defender Ben Godfrey, with Dortmund apparently interested, although I don't think anyone's going to be paying 50 million for him. And lastly but not least, in complete and utter contradiction to this, apparently Sheffield United are planning a £10 million bid for Norwich's Todd Cantwell. If they're not sending their star centre-back for 50 million, I'm not quite sure they're going to be sending one of their star attacking midfielders for just 10. So lastly, but not least, we come to this week's Thursday favourites, where you guys asked me some of my favourite things in football in the comment section. And this week, we've got a pretty good one. So this comes from Sri Lathaner, who said, "Hey Matt, can you let me know your top 5 favourite great players who became great managers?" Yes, there are so many, but in this category, I'm actually going for players that I saw play as well, even if I didn't see too much of them. Like, Johan Cruyff was like probably the best ever player to become a manager. I didn't see him play. Actually, I didn't even see him manage. So I'm not going to put him in this list because it's my 5 favourites, not yours, my 5. So those of you asking, where's blah, 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 where's blah, 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 I thought about him, or whoever you're talking about. This is just my 5 favourites. Anyway, let's get on with it. And the first one is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Definitely remember him more as a player as a manager, and he was a fantastic super sub. And I really kind of enjoy what he's doing with Manchester United, giving the young kids a go, bringing in some fantastic talent. He's definitely got them playing some exciting, attacking football. Massive props to him. Next up, and yeah, another guy who's definitely made a great step into management, but it's more because he was such a great player that I like him so much, is Steven Gerrard. Very few have had such a fantastic career that he has had, and now he's taken a step in going to Rangers. He hasn't gone to a former club, he hasn't stayed in English football. He's gone up to Rangers and a club completely unknown to him, and really put his own stamp on the team. They've become a much better side since he's come in. Yes, they're not really too close to chasing Celtic just yet for the title, but they're putting themselves about a bit in cup competitions and in the Europa League as well. Next up, and talking of Steven Gerrard, you've probably guessed that number 3 is Frank Lampard. Again, much like with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I thought he was a fantastic player during his days. In fact, Lampard was a way better player than Solskjaer was. Brilliant player for England, and now he's had a really good season with Derby, sort of earned his stripes somewhat in 1 year, and then gone back to Chelsea, and he's really handled the pressure, I think, really well. Considering that Chelsea, well, they were stuck with a transfer ban. It looked like they had to make use of some youngsters. Frank Lampard's given them confidence, played some impressive games this season, including victories over Manchester City. And, well, I just think that he's done a fantastic job, and Chelsea really are set up for the future. They're almost partnering this Lampard youth policy with bringing some big signings as well, and it looks like they're set to challenge for the Premier League next season. Number 2, and it's Pep Guardiola. Now, I must admit, I saw him play a little bit towards the end of his career, but definitely not peak Guardiola. I just wasn't old enough. I was probably playing with Carls or something. Anyway, Guardiola as a manager, there is nothing you can fault him for. Unbelievable. Even If he just had that 4-year period at Barcelona and never managed again, he'd still go down as one of the greats. So then when you take into account what he did at Bayern Munich and then Manchester City as well, a great player, an unbelievable manager. And lastly but not least, number 1 on my list is Zinedine Zidane. Now the reason I've put him number 1 is because not only has he been a fantastic manager with Real Madrid and all those Champions League memories, but also as a player, I just love watching him play. He's probably my favourite player of all time. Oh, that's a big statement. Yeah, I'm going with it. My favourite player of all time, certainly the most talented I've ever seen play. I was actually lucky enough to watch him back in 2005 and it was just majestic. The way he moves with the ball was insane. I have so many memories of watching him play on TV as well. For me, because it's my personal 5 favourites, he is the greatest player to become a great manager. So there you have it, there is Thursday favourites. Let me know yours in the comments section down below and do not ask me where such and such is because those are my 5 favourites. Anyway, whilst you're at it, smash the like button. Also, subscribe to us because we've got loads of new cool coming. Also, smash the like button and hit the notification bell as well because we've got loads of cool content coming out on Onefootball, some of which you can check by clicking here or here. That's all from me for today though. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you guys later.